We're going to be moving off of YouTube anyway. Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Bible Hangout. I'm excited to be here. James, Senior Minister for Understanding Principles Church in Los Angeles. That was founded by Della Reese more than 30 years ago. And I'm just delighted. I've been off for a month, and I'm excited to be back and share with you guys. We are in the process of working with Edwene Gaines, the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. I have reached out to Reverend Edwene to ask her to be interviewed by us series. So prayer in action that she will join us next Thursday, or maybe we'll have a separate conversation with her. My PowerPoint now, I discovered after I said that I can't. What about that? Can you see that? I can't get rid of that this strip, or if I could, I don't know how. Okay. The question that we're answering tonight is, are you BFF? Or the F word, forgiveness. We're in part 3 of Edwene's book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And tonight we're going to talk about the 3rd law, which is forgiveness. Now, the outline is pretty straightforward. I've got a couple of announcements. We'll do opening prayer. Forgiveness is not just for believers, and we'll look at what forgiveness can do for you. And then at the end of this, she actually gives 6 forgiveness techniques. And of course, please ask questions throughout. I like the questions because they're helpful and they help me know what is landing with you and what's not landing. Right, I'm watching the chat. Great. Okay. Go to the next slide, Sherri. So know your why. I share this with you guys. This night is so important to me. There is not a figure attached to it. This, when I first got involved with New Thought, when named Mary Tompkins, preached in Chicago at the Panorama of Truth, which is our summer conference in 1998. And I totally did not expect to hear her. I had gone to hear Reverend Johnny Coleman, that Reverend Johnny was actually speaking to my sorority at our Boulay, and it was too late for me to jump up out of the Hilton or the Hyatt off of Michigan Avenue and race over to the McCormick Center. It's there. So nonetheless, I had to sit through a sermon by Mary Tompkins. Well, this woman opened her mouth, and I have never been the same. I can tell you all of what she said in that sermon. I can tell you one thing for sure that she said that stayed with me, which is that my good to me because my good comes from me. My good comes to me because my good, and the point being that nothing can stop the flow of good in my life except me, because it comes from me. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen because I said okay to it. And that single idea has just ran that CD over and over and over and over again. No, CD, that tape, that cassette tape. So it made such an indelible mark on my soul and for other people. The metaphor of one of my favorite movies, Inception, because minus the guns. I gotta find a way to get this picture without the guns. This is not a gun to your head type thing. But I do believe in this idea of sharing something that touches you and changes you at your core. And what I really want you to grasp is that you're divine. I really want it to land in you that you are a spiritual being, spiritual world governed by spiritual laws, and that there is something absolutely marvelous and magnificent about you, and really just to hold on to that. And I want that idea to take root in you, because I know that if you really get it, that you are not just this human being, bag of bones, skin on it, but that you are more than you ever imagined. You have talents that you haven't even discovered, no matter how old you are. And that's huge. You have talents that have never been discovered, no matter how old you are. That if that idea takes hold in your mind, nothing that can stop you. And so I live for that. That's what I'm living for, and why Thursday night is so important. It does cost to produce this, and so if you want to support the Bible Hangout, I encourage you to do that. And you can go right to revsherri.com, and there's a PayPal button there. And a gift of any size makes a difference, and I thank you now for that. Oh, this slide is here. Live. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing in addition to, or as part of my ministry. I actually am part of a movement in North America to get people off the couch and into life. And I won't go into a whole lot of details here. I work with people to help them turn their bucket list into a live list, to help them not get to the end of their lives and find out that they have not yet lived. And so if you want to know more about that, definitely send me an email. You may or may not know this, but I also do spiritual mentoring. And I am very well equipped to help you become the person whose dreams come true. And I'll tell you why. Because one of the things that I have been really working on, and this is something that I'm proud of and I'm excited about, just becoming a learner, right? That 40 plus years of my life, I wore the label smart. September 26, 2017, I declared to the universe that I am no longer carrying that label. I am now a learner. It seems like maybe it seems like a small shift, but it has changed everything in my experience. Because the problem with carrying the label smart is that what happens when you run up against something that you don't easily grasp? Is wrapped around the idea of smart. You're basically fragile. That's basically it. And I'm really interested in being anti-fragile and being mentally tough. And so taking on the label of learner means that though I might run into something that I don't know how to do, I believe I can learn how to do it. And so I don't need to know everything. I just need to know that I can learn how to do whatever I need to do. And that has made all the difference in my experience. And so that is what when I work with people, that I mentor them. I like the term spiritual mentor, different from a coach, because I'm not browbeating you. Not that all coaches browbeat you, but that mentor you in terms of taking on that label learner, that realizing that when you hit that wall, it just means that there's a skill that you don't have. But not that there's something wrong with you or that the thing that you want can't be yours. The thing that separates you from where you are now and where you want to be is simply a set of skills. And so then we can work together to begin to develop a plan to acquire the skills that will help you move to where you want to be. That life is a doable thing, and that it can be something that you enjoy and something that you love. And so if you are interested in that, give me a ring. Let's hang out. Let's see if we work together well. This series, there's the Bible Hangout and there's the blog. And it's time to choose a new series because we only got one more Thursday left in this one. So if there are books, and I'm going to ask you guys now, you can put it in the chat. Are there books that you guys are interested in taking a look at? Where do you want to go next? Constance says, I'm confused, but I'm here. Hi, Constance. I don't know why you're confused. Did you not get the email, Constance? Oh, no. Okay. Hi, Deshore. Love Deshore. Hey, Joe, Yvonne. So listen, where are we going next, guys? Where are we going next? Because we got to figure out the next text. Now, there's a text called Dollars Want Me. That is small, it's simple. We could do a classic like As a Man Thinketh. There's a book that I've been looking at. We could stay on this prosperity path. And we can pick up Mae McCarthy's The Path to Wealth. This book. What she gives you in this text is a daily wealth discipline. So, how to say this? So who you are is the sum total of what you do every day, or who you are becoming is the sum total of what you do every day. So you don't actually have to say, where am I going in life? Because you can look at what it is that you're doing every day. You just take an inventory of the things you do every day. That's where you're going. And what she helps you do in this book is to identify a wealth creation system. And I don't mean like a business, but I mean the mental, spiritual, and emotional support that backs up whatever physical action you're taking. That makes sense. Meaning that it's, there are physical things you can do to create wealth, right? So you can start a business, you can invest, you can save money. There's many things or some combination of those things in order to create wealth. But sometimes when you're taking those actions, those actions may run counter to a belief system that you have. And so what this material in this book does is to help you develop that supports whatever external wealth practices you have. So it's not a big book, right? It's about 170 pages ish. So this is a possibility. You see if there are any suggestions you guys have tossed in there. Constance says, "Oh no! Hi, Constance. I'm so sorry." Yvonne says, "Aren't you in a movie as an Thinketh?" Let's go with that. A classic. Yes. As a Man Thinketh is yes. I'm actually working with John. At some point, we're going to do a screening in Los Angeles. I know they did a screening in Chicago. I don't know what's happening in Sacramento, but definitely going to plan a screening down in Los Angeles. As a Man Thinketh is awesome. It is like it's a little bitty pamphlet like this, but it's a bomb. So yeah, we could go to that next. Okay, wonderful. Let's keep going. And if you have any other suggestions, I'm open to them. So please do suggest them because we got to figure it out in a couple of days. The scripture for this series: "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill." And that's Matthew 5:17. And so if you could just take a moment to relax where you are and just be in this space of awareness that God is all there is, that this presence, this power, it indwells us, it breathes itself as us. And at the same time, we have absolute authority and dominion over the portion of it that we've been given to individually manage. And we manage it through our attention. And so we ask God in this class tonight that you just give us the places where you want us to place our attention. Show us what to pay attention to. Show us what is worthy of the energy of God that indwells us. Show us what is worthy of that divine spark that lights us. We thank you for growth. We thank you for expansion. We thank you for making us the people who can have our dreams come true. We humbly surrender and open our hearts and minds to whatever you have to say to us. Thank you, God. In the name and nature of Jesus the Christ, we affirm that it is so, and so it is. And amen. So, forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just for believers. One of my, I guess you can call it a pet peeve, but I don't know if that's quite the word I want to use, but one of my things that sticks in my butt, in my throat, right? I got ticked off. That's not the word, but it just, it kind of catches me the wrong way. Is that there's some words that are so heavily associated with spirituality or with religion that people who don't consider themselves spiritual or religious think that they don't apply to them. But forgiveness is for everyone. And in my opinion, you need to become BFFs with the F word, because there are only two things happening in the universe: circulation and stagnation. Either something is moving or it's standing still. When it's moving, it's healthy. when it's standing still, there's a need for forgiveness. That's how you release the energy. You must forgive it. And so I have to stress how important forgiveness is for everyone. Now, as spiritual entrepreneurs, that doesn't mean that we have businesses that are religious oriented or spiritual oriented. It means that we recognize that where we spend the majority of our time, upwards of 60 to 80% of our time on a daily basis, sometimes now people are working on the weekends, it can't just put money in our pocket. It also has to nourish us in some way. And so that is what makes us spiritual entrepreneurs. And so this forgiveness, right? Wherever there's a place of stagnation in your business, if there's stagnation in your income, if there's stagnation in the development of your company, if there's stagnation in your product line, wherever there is stagnation, even though it appears on the physical level, everything on the physical level has a mental equivalent. And so the way to get rid of the stagnation, as opposed to having it just move around, is to begin to practice and develop forgiveness. And so I want to talk about what forgiveness can do for you. Let me check for comments here. Okay, all right. So the first thing is that forgiveness cleans you from the inside out. Forgiveness cleans you from the inside out. This, we pay so much attention to how doing things on the physical level that we often forget that things are mental first before they're ever physical. And so our attention has to be on the mental, emotional, and spiritual level, because that's where it's created. Now, just like you have a bath for the body, there is a such thing as a bath for the mind. And that bath is forgiveness. That bath is forgiveness. It cleanses the heart. It gets rid of the erroneous thoughts. It gets rid of all the places. I'm trying to get to my blog post, y'all. Just give me 1 second. Okay. It gets rid of all of the erroneous thoughts. So just like you go out in the daytime and when you come in the house, you have to, basically cleanse yourself before you get in your bed, before you, shut down for the evening. That it's that same thing, that you have gone out and you've picked up so much, what's the word? So much dust from other people in terms of their thinking. And you think about the people that you interact with on a daily basis. It's sometimes people come into your office and they have a negative attitude. Sometimes people come into your office and they just need to vent. Sorry, I was trying to work with the PowerPoint and the blog post. But sometimes people come into your office and need to vent, or they're having a bad day, or somebody comes in and they're really sad and you have to comfort them. As you begin to interact with people, you end up taking on all of that energy. And somebody flips you off because maybe you didn't see them and you got in front of them and they're like honking their horn hard at you. These just isolated things, but they all impact us. They all touch us in some way. And so forgiveness is not something that you do every once in a while, or every time there's some quote unquote big betrayal or big hurt. Forgiveness is something that you do every day. That the same way that you take a bath and wash your skin, you wouldn't go a day without a bath, would you? So then you shouldn't go a day without forgiveness. And that's like going a day without a bath. Ray says, forgiveness of self has always been the hardest for me. I can forgive others and myself. I agree, Ray. Same for me. Alita says, if we don't forgive, we get funky. Yes, we do. That's it. And we don't want to be funky people. We like to be clean people. Yes. So one of the things that Edwina does, and I think is powerful, is on page 119 to 120. She says, forgiveness is not something we do for the sake of another person. Forgiveness is something we do for ourselves. Think of forgiveness as emotional house cleaning. It lets us make room for the good we desire. It also lets us go as far as we can on this spiritual journey and receive all the universe has to offer. If we refuse to give, we are clinging to self-defeating feelings such as guilt, shame, blame, hurt, and resentment. We cannot feel truly worthy of having the best God can give us. We cannot and will not accept God's gift. And I thought that was so powerful because that our withholding forgiveness is doing something to the person, but in actuality, it's blocking our ability to receive when we refuse to forgive. You block your ability to receive when you refuse to forgive. Because I really want you to get this, that it's energy, right? So you're carrying around the energy of anger, of hurt, of sadness, of grief, of betrayal, of like that energy ends up infecting you, right? And it ends up coloring your experiences. It ends up zapping the good out of your experiences, not out of the. That's why we say forgiveness is for you, because the only person that you're impacting is you. And when you refuse to forgive, you interfere with your ability to receive. And so forgiveness, and this is that bathing part, it gets rid of all that, it gets rid of the belief that somebody can keep something from me, that somehow my life is subject to someone else's choices. All of that stuff has to be forgiven out of us, especially in this racially charged and sexually charged environment that we're in right now, that some of us have been conditioned to believe that they won't let you. Like it's just in there. People will say it. They won't let so and they, or they'll only let a few through, or they're only gonna let the new thing today is they're only gonna let Africans through. They're not gonna let African Americans through. You gotta cleanse that, because what happens is that when you hold that energy, you don't feel worthy of the gifts of God. So you never do the things that would bring about, that would make you receptive to a worthy receptacle of the good that God has for you, because you're carrying these limited thoughts in your own mind, and they feel so true. They feel deeply true, because all you got to do is look and say, well, there's Joyanne Reed, and there's so and so, and there's so and so, and your eyes will find evidence of what you already believe. It's slow. You you think that what it is, you think that you believe because of what you see, but you actually see because of what you believe. Shift your own mind. You got to take your mind back, and that's what forgiveness is about. It's about washing that gunk out, getting rid of it. One of my favorite people today is Eric Thomas. If you guys ever have a chance to look him up. If you ever have a chance to hear, please do. Talk about just beast mode. And one of my favorite things of his that I heard lately is that you will not outwork me. He said, you might come in and you've got the suit, check. You might be taller than me, check. Parents, check. You probably look better than me, check. You will not outwork me. In the analysis, to your two-parent household, you're having all your needs met, you'll get your degree on time. That work me. You will not outwork me. And so I just resonate with that. I think about that in relation to my work in ministry. It's like, you ain't gonna outwork me. Oh, we only have 58 members on the books of our church. You will not outwork me. It's just that I'm master of my destiny. And so this forgiveness is so powerful because you got to get that stuff out of your mind. You have to free your own mind. Nobody can free your mind for you. Own mind. So anyway, look him up. He's one of my Man Crush Mondays or whatever right now. I just think he's awesome and just got good information that will empower you. Number 2, you got to choose to be non-judgmental. Now, this is the hardest bridge to cross, being judgmental and being judgmental and being non-judgmental, because I found myself today, literally, to do my devotion, right? So I'm sitting down, I've got my DI. I'm just telling the truth. I'm gonna just, because I'm able to be honest here, right? I think I can be honest with y'all. So I'm sitting down. This is me, right? So I got my daily inspiration, and I'm reading. God is still God. Reading. And so now I'm meditating, and the thought comes in my mind: why do you have to lie about his weight and his height? Where did that come from? Are you serious? Are you serious? That was just a missed opportunity. I mean, you don't lie about your weight. We can see you ain't. It's a hard bridge to cross. It's a hard bridge to cross. And it is so hard to let people show up for life for the way that they choose to show up for life. And to not believe that the way that they show up for life has to have some kind of impact on you. It's deep, y'all. It's deep. Because you'll catch yourself in the middle of something, in the middle of some craziness. And be like, is that me? Where'd that come from? Well, I don't care about your weight. But again, it's in there. It's a hard bridge to cross, but it's one that we have to cross. Again, this is about personal freedom. And something I learned from Reverend Dellum. When she was in her 70s, discovered that she had a talent for making jewelry. And so she started making jewelry and selling it. Nothing before that moment pointed to her being able to be a jewelry designer. And then, the books that came out of her later, and then there were all of these things that she began to do in her 70s and going into her 80s. If you could get that, as much as you think you know yourself, and I think everybody probably believes that they really, really know themselves, if you could just sit with the idea that you have something, at least one thing in you that you don't even know that's in you. And you think about that, because somehow when you get to like 50 and 60 and you feel like, I know myself. Around the block with me a few times, I know myself. But if you could, your influence, that within you that you have not even seen yet, but you can't get to it whether or not somebody lied about their weight. Trading off your God. And so you got to get to the point where you want what God wants to bring through you. You want to judge somebody else for how unethical they are or dishonest they are, and it's hard because I don't know, maybe there's some chemical thing that happens when you're self-righteous, and that's why we want to do it. But we trade off our own good. That you haven't discovered. What's in you that you haven't even discovered, and is, or you won't stop judging. That's huge. You know, that she wrote this in the book. I thought this was funny. She, she said every evening her granny would sit with her snuff, rocking her rocking chair and spitting into her spittoon. And the ladies of the evening, the prostitutes, locked up in jail. And every evening her grandmother would say the same thing: "Those buzzards, hang them." Eventually, I got tired of hearing that. So one day I asked her, "Granny, do you know what reincarnation is?" She said, "What's that?" That what you condemn in this life, you condemn yourself to experience in the next. When she understood what I was saying, my granny's eyes got as big as saucers. Grandmother sat down in her rocking chair with her snuff, evening news. Once again, they played footage of women of ill repute being arrested and locked up. Granny to see what she would do or say. Finally, she took a deep breath. "Well, bless their hearts," she said. "That which you condemn in this life, stuff to experience in the next." But this is the thing. It's not even about reincarnation. It's about the seeds I sow today become the harvest of tomorrow. Seeds of condemnation that I sow today, harvest of condemnation tomorrow. They don't show up as the harvest of condemnation for the person that I'm condemning. They show up as my harvest. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Choose to accept responsibility. Now, this is the second hardest bridge to cross, right? Laying blame is so much a part of what we do, right? We want to blame our current political circumstance on the people who decided to vote for a third-party candidate. Our circumstance for, right? But laying blame it's a cultural norm. I'm suggesting to you is that you combine with what you notice. And if all you notice is all the things that go wrong, is it any wonder that so many things are going wrong in your experience? Stop giving your attention to that which does not expand you. Concentrate so deeply on what is worthy of the attention of God in you that you change the conversation. You gotta wait, baby, okay? So concentrate so deeply. So this is the thing. So you can't say that it can't be done, right? You can't say that it can't be done because it's been done. If there's a Jesus, if there's a Gandhi, that there's a level of concentrating on that which is good. And your concentration is a magnifier that you blow up that which is good so deeply that you literally shift the national conversation. This is why our spiritual communities are so important. You know, many of us in this conversation are part of the UFBL or part of Unity or part of religious science or excuse me, Centers for Spiritual Living. And if we concentrated so deeply on the things that expand us, we could shift the international conversation. The conversation that's being had is the conversation that needs to be had or that has to be had. But you can so dial into the presence and the power of God within you what the world is talking about. People are doing it every day. They're doing it in their arena. You've got basketball, Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors, they changed the conversation. They changed the conversation that was basketball. I'm not taking anything from LeBron. Don't you Cleveland people hit me up. I like LeBron too. The conversation was around this guy who's small, wiry, and little, and looks like a kid. Change the conversation. You can do that. At one point there was, they ain't gonna never let us make a film. These black folks, um, all the money goes to these kinds of projects, and then overnight directing $100 million film. The conversation. You can concentrate on that which is inside of you, that you shift the conversation. And you keep looking at the stuff you need to go on and forgive and stop paying attention to. So only give your attention to that which expands you. Your attention to that which expands you. If it doesn't expand you, turn it off. That means people, places, and things. There may be some conversations that you need to turn off. Like, we can't talk every day. You can't be, or if nothing else, I can't talk to you before 1 o'clock. Because all that energy, I need to be concentrating on the God in me. So I can't give you some of that energy. You're going to have to wait until like I come up out the cave, out the laboratory, right? I can't give you this morning energy because this is what my prime time, creation time. Right? You got to catch me when I'm on my leisure. You can concentrate, but let me tell you why you can't concentrate, because if all that energy is bottled up around what you won't forgive, so it's stagnated, it's not free for your use. And so what that forgiveness does, right? You got this bottled up energy, this anger or hate or resentment or hurt or betrayal, and it's bottled up. And every time you run across, it's like a callus. And then what happens is that as you forgive, as you practice forgiveness, it begins to dissolve that energy. All of a sudden, what was stagnated now becomes energy that you can take and repurpose. And you can begin to use it. Forgiveness is powerful. This is why it's not just for believers. That's why it bugs me that it has a religious connotation, because it's like, y'all quote unquote regular did too. Way to break up that end. That's the only way it breaks up. That's the only. Never practice forgiveness, meaning the conscious act of forgiving someone. Practice forgiveness energy. And so is it any wonder that they get to 60, 70 and there's blockages? Those blockages don't just come out of nowhere. Number 4, stop blaming, start reframing. So here's the thing. You can't change what happened, right? There's no think about what has happened or through you. You cannot change what has happened. There's no, it has happened. There's no way to go back and reverse November 4th, 2016, or whatever date it is. You can go back and reverse that. It's happened. What you can do is you can change the story that you tell about it. You can change the story that you tell about it. So the people who do us wrong, they're our teachers. They may not be the teachers that we would consciously choose, but the lessons that them teach impact us for the rest of our lives. And hurt you. See if you can step back from the moment and just ask what that person came to teach you. I had an experience earlier this week where a couple of weeks I've been working with has been in my ear about what I'm not doing, and essentially the gist of the conversation is it's inadequate. And I'm looking at how I'm showing up, and I'm saying, no, the way that I'm showing up is absolutely adequate. I'm not accepting this opinion you're offering me. Right? As I kept butting up against, my ego was getting all caught up in the, and finally was like, you know what? Let me just get curious, right? Instead of getting frustrated, let me get, I would say, let me get fast out. What does this come to teach me? One of the this is reframing, right? Can't change what's happening. This conversation about, hey Sherri, the way you're doing this is inadequate. That's happening. Can't change that. Is the conversation I'm having with myself about it. Now I'm reframing, and I said, the level of life that I'm asking God to play on, right? When I'm looking at the pantheon, I see, T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen, and I see Sherri James. So the level of life that I'm looking to play on, plenty of people eating. That's what happens. That's what the bugs come. That's what happens when you're a flower. And so what I did was to make this moment me learning to hear this and not let it touch me. So what if in criticism, instead of me internalizing it and my feelings being hurt and being upset and my ego's all involved in it, this energy, and I say, this is practice. When I'm playing and I'm on the international scene, somebody out of Zimbabwe that don't know what I'm doing, but they're criticizing it. You get it's like you start reading the going through. What is it preparing you for? Because I have gifts and talents inside of me. I know myself. I don't even know the possibility of them exist. But if I'm caught up in the data criticism and what somebody is, I never get access to what's inside of me. It's stagnated over here with the bug that's in my ear. Stop blaming and start reframing. Stop, what, this person got in my ear and they were criticizing me, or my mom talked about me, or my dad talked about me, and it's like reframing. What did they prepare you for? I had to reframe what it meant to have an absent father. I had to reframe it, come up with a different conversation about it. It was all of these other things and tell a downtrodden story, or I could realize, it really prepared me to not look for a savior, because I knew one was not coming. And I felt bad about it, but it taught me a level of independence that I didn't know that I needed to have. Again, reframing. You get to tell the story. Don't tell a story that makes you the victim. Checking for comments. Hey, June. Happy New Year. He said Happy New Year in the comments. Okay. All right. So forgiveness is an act of will. I really want you to get this. You got to make yourself forgive. It doesn't naturally happen. It doesn't, how about this? So sometimes it has happened in the past, and it can feel like you've forgiven it because it's just kind of a dull thing in the background. It is an act of will. If you do not actively do it, it has not happened. Just because you don't think about it anymore does not mean it has been forgiven. Make yourself forgive. You have to get curious about why you don't want to forgive, right? So, because there may be a situation where it's like, I don't want to forgive them. No, that seems like too much. I can't. But if you would just get curious, well, why don't I want to forgive them? Just your curiosity will start to drain off some of the energy around the incident or the person. Just getting curious will do that. Now, one of the things that she does, she gives us 6 forgiveness techniques. And I think this is going to address some of the stuff you were talking about, Ray, about forgiving yourself. Because I too struggle with that. I find it easy to forgive everybody, but me, I hold myself, under the guise of holding myself to a higher standard, but got to have some self-compassion. So the forgiveness technique number 1 is you can write, speak, and listen to forgiveness affirmations. And I actually posted a video that I found online that You can just listen to those affirmations and let them seep into your subconscious mind. And basically, you can program your own subconscious mind. And what those forgiveness affirmations do for you is that they start to condition your mind to allow forgiveness. So as you listen to those affirmations, or as you read them aloud to yourself, or as you say them, or as you write them down, it begins to condition your mind to say forgiveness is something that I can do. Technique number 2, practice forgiveness nightly. And this is where she gives some questions that we can journal, right? So you can literally, you can set a timer for say 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, right? Maybe 10 minutes. Then you do this, you can take a 30-day challenge and then just do these questions. So these are in the book on these questions are on page, I can't find them immediately. All right, I'm not finding them immediately, but they're in the chapter. Here we go, page 125, 126. On page 125, 126. What you can do is set a timer. I'm a fan of a timer, and I'll tell you why. Because timer, sometimes you sit down, the mind is resistant to sit down and do like meditation or some type of self-reflective work. But if you set a timer, it helps the mind relax, because the mind says, oh, okay, we're only going to do this for 10 minutes. It helps you lessen that inner resistance. So you set the timer, and then you start just going through the questions, right? So you start going, you look at, okay, whom am I blaming? What am I blaming this person for? Blaming this person. Why did I allow this person to hurt me? I need to forgive in myself, in my parents, in my world. I hurt. Why did I hurt this person? Do I punish myself and others? And so you just take those questions, and just set that timer. And then this is your just nightly self-care routine. Before you go to bed, this is the last thing that you do, is that you sit and begin to look and answer the question of basically, who have I placed outside my heart? Outside my heart. And you make it a nightly practice. Is to take a 1 to 2 day forgiveness sabbatical. A 1 to 2 day forgiveness sabbatical. Now, you may think I can't do anything. My life is end to end busy. For you, that you cannot afford not sabbatical. And so what you want to do is find a quiet place in the text. Page 1. Number 2, practice forgiveness nightly. Take 1. All right. Sorry about Wi-Fi. Like literally the Wi-Fi just cut out. I was trying, and so I'm going to turn on my Wi-Fi for my, let's hook it up to the hotspot so that I have it. All right, hopefully it's going to create a. All right, so I'm hooked up to the hotspot. Oh, my apologies. The hotspot, excuse me, the Wi-Fi, and it's been going out like that, like just randomly. All right, anyway, but we're good. Hotspot is on. I'm good. And let me check here. Okay, all right. All right, so forgiveness sabbatical. So this is what I want to say about that. So something that you can do that I think is really powerful is to do like a staycation, right? So if you say, you know what, I'm going to take a mental health day, and I am not going to go in on, say, a Friday, right? I'm going to take a Friday and a Saturday. That you can go and stay at, you can go to Groupon and go stay at like a nice hotel, right? It's very inexpensive, but you can stay at a nice hotel using a Groupon, and then just take that time. Don't take any devices, or basically go radio dark, where you can just sit with yourself and do this kind of forgiveness inventory. It is such a powerful thing that you can do for yourself, where you just take time to just see, am I holding on to anything? Sometimes we can't see or hear what we're holding on to because our lives are so busy that there's just no time to think. And so you have to build in that thinking time into your life. You have to build in that time for self-reflection. And if you never come out of the day-to-day, then you never get the fullness of that self-reflection. There's always some self-reflection happens on a daily basis, but I'm talking about that where you do that deep dive, where you really find the stuff that's sort of hidden beneath the surface that you can't see when you're caught up in the day-to-day. So definitely make that a priority. Technique number 4. Okay, now this one, I can't say I'm gonna do this one, but because even as I was writing it, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I do all that. Write down every mistake or wrong thing you have ever done. Put it all on paper, everything, big, small, little, in between. And then share it with an emotionally healthy and trusted friend. Now, the friend is not there to offer commentary. All they're there to do is to just listen. The thing is that the act of telling your deepest secrets and not being rejected can be incredibly healing. Because part of what makes it be a secret is that we have concocted a story in our heads about what other people would say if they knew how we felt or how we thought or what we did. And so you can write it down. If you have somebody that you can trust, you can have that kind of conversation with them. Now, this is one of the benefits of being a pastor, is that we're duty bound to not tell your business. So you literally can have that kind of conversation with your pastor where it's like, I just need to get this off my chest and like just tell someone who's going to be in a space of compassion. I don't know who I would tell. I might have to go to technique number 5, which is take it to the Lord in prayer. Okay, so you follow the same platform, same thing, except you take it to Jesus. Okay. So the thing is that you know how Jesus or someone like a Jesus, a Buddha, uh, 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 um, but whatever spiritual guru that is important to you, if Jesus is a sticking point for you, and you know how this person would respond to your confession, that they would respond to you with compassion, that they would recognize that whatever it was that was done, it was the best you knew how to do in that moment. And so just try it. Take something that you feel seriously guilty about. This is great. I was thinking about this when you talked about being able to forgive yourself. Is take something that you feel seriously guilty about or shame about or frustrated or whatever that is, and just have a conversation. It's not up here right now, but I have this great coffee cup that says Jesus Coffee Repeat. And I got it when I did a site visit at Saddleback. It was one of the gifts that they gave on the Sunday that I was there. But it's just to have coffee with God, right? Or have coffee with Jesus, or have coffee with Buddha, but it's like you sit down and you begin to have counsel with that person or that entity that you look up to. And then just ask, listen, Jesus, you taught to forgive 70 times 7. I need some help here because I seem to be able to let other people off the hook, but I can't figure out how to let myself off the hook. So I need some help here. And then just sit and see what comes up. See what comes up. And Ray, I don't know if you feel like that will help you, but it's to just see what comes up. Just try it out. And it's simple. It's just some quiet time. And it's like, I've been carrying this around for years. And sometimes we carry things around for so long that it feels like we can't let it go. And so we don't even try to let it go because it's been with us for so long that we think that we can't let it go. But if we just took the time and said, I really want to let this go. And I don't 100% know what to do to let it go, but I really want to let this go. And I need help. And you drink that cup of coffee or drink that tea and just have that conversation. And then, you may read some of the words from scripture, or if there's a book that the person has written, you read some of the words from the book that the person has written, that you begin to get a sense of what that person would say, to you. And they would be in a spirit of compassion. It's the most amazing thing. It really is. That you can confer with any consciousness that you want to confer with. Finally, sometimes you got to just declare that it's over. Reverend Ike had this sermon. He said, oh, the woman, she had been sick. She had tried everything. And she finally just said, oh, hell, I'm well. Sometimes you just need to declare what you are done with. And I think this is a wonderful nightly activity where you just complete the phrases. I am through feeling guilty about, you just fill in the blank. I am over feeling sorry for myself about. I am no longer going to blame XYZ for. I am finished with all sadness about. I forgive my parents for. I release all suffering about. I forgive myself once and for all for. And then you just fill in the blank. But you just declare, this is it. This is not the story I want to keep telling. We're done. We're done with this story. And so my call to action to you is to become BFFs with the F word. What is it time for you to forgive? And which of the 6 techniques can you put into action today? Is there something that you can do tonight before you close your eyes in terms of forgiveness? Can you do one of the journaling exercises? Or maybe can you have a cup of tea with Jesus, with spirit, with whomever, but have a cup of tea before you go to bed and have that conversation about what you're having a hard time forgiving yourself for. And if this webinar helps you, please subscribe and share with a friend. That would be so kind. That would be so kind. Any questions? Y'all are awfully quiet tonight. I don't know where y'all at. I don't know if this is good, bad, or otherwise. Are we here? Okay. All right. We're so quiet. Any questions? Thank you, Judy. Thank you. She said, just to comment, I love this book, and this particular step is a wonderful reminder. I agree. I agree. Let it go, let it go, let it go. So next week we'll be on the last chapter. And I do want to let you guys know, I'm dealing with a situation at work, and this is what I need to do. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So YouTube changed its partner agreements with with a number of their smaller channels, my channel being one of the smaller channels, and basically under 4,000 subscribers, they canceled the agreement. And so I got an email saying, this is your 30-day notice that your agreement is essentially torn up. So I can either like scramble and try to get 4,000 followers by whatever date that is in February, or I can just say peace. So the system that I have set up is Zoom, and it's a much more stable platform. Actually, be easy to share a screen, to share videos, and other things I want to do anyway. So that's actually a really good thing. And what it does mean is that it just changes the way that you log in. I think I'm able to do an unlimited number of people in the meeting, and I can share my screen. I can share it gives a lot more control. It'll be recorded, and then I'll upload those recordings to YouTube. So the channel will still be there, but it'll just be different in terms of how the video is input. So what that means, though, is that if you're watching the Bible Hangout on your phone or your tablet, you're going to need to get the Zoom app, which is free, on from the Play Store or from the App Store for iTunes. And it's called a Zoom Cloud Meeting, ZOOM Cloud Meetings. And so we will debut that in February. So it's a very, very simple, straightforward system. Very, very simple and straightforward. But I want to just take some time. I didn't want to just do it today and not have a minute to just kind of explain it and say it over and over and over again so that it will stick. But we're moving to the Zoom platform, which means then that you'll definitely need to be on the newsletter because it'll have the Zoom ID, the link, and all of that stuff to be able to log in. I think that's it. All right. Thank you so much. They probably did. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
She said, come on, tell the truth. You know they had to change because of the Tide Pod Challenge. Man, they had to do something. You're hungry, honey? Okay, all right. And he's been so good. Come say hi, babe. He's been so good. He didn't interrupt me at all. I told him that he had to be a big boy and not interrupt me, and he did not interrupt me. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Have a great. How old are you now? 4. He's 4.
Bye-bye, Jordan.
All right. Alita says, hi, Jordan.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm 4.
I know you're 4.
Now I turn big.
Now you're turning big, yes.
I'm going to kindergarten.
You're going to kindergarten?
Wow.
Jordan, my favorite thing with Jordan now, he reads books to me at night. And what book do you read to me?
How Pooh Stole
No, how the Grinch stole Christmas.
No, just said Pooh Stole Christmas.
Okay. All right. All right.
How Pooh Stole Christmas.
How the Pooh stole Christmas. All right, there we go. All right, thank you guys. Next week, Divine Purpose. All right, have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.